sometimes at great personal risk. This occasion, therefore, is as much a celebration of the Ghana Journalists Association as it is a celebration of each and every one of you. As we gather today to celebrate the remarkable journey of the Ghanaian media, it is essential to acknowledge that this is not a story of the present. The media's contribution to our nation's progress reached back to one of the most defining moments in our history, our fight for freedom and independence. Long before the celebrations of 6 March 1957, journalists were already playing a crucial role, using their pens and their voices to fuel the fires of freedom. In those difficult years, the media was not merely a tool for information, it became the lifeblood of the independence movement. Through newspapers, radio broadcasts, and public forums, journalists challenged the colonial authorities, voiced the frustrations of the oppressed, and ignited a national consciousness that united Ghanaians across ethnic, regional, and social lines. The power of the written and spoken word became a formidable force, bringing hope where there was despair and courage where there was fear. Names like Dr. J.B. Dankwa, Kwame Nkrumah, and others who were key figures in the independence struggle are often celebrated as political icons. But we must also remember that many of them were journalists, using their platforms to inspire and lead. Let us not forget the courage it took to speak out in those days. Colonial rule was not kind to dissenting voices, and journalists faced harassment, imprisonment, and censorship. But they pressed on, driven by their belief in an independent Ghana. Their bravery helped to create a spirit of resistance that could not be silenced, and their legacy reminds us that the work of journalism is not only about reflecting the present, but also about shaping the future. Ladies and gentlemen, the story of Ghana's democracy is incomplete without the contribution of the media. You have been there in moments of triumph and trial, standing as pillars of truth and integrity. As the foster state, you have been instrumental in promoting the principles of transparency, accountability, and participation, pillars that keep any democracy strong. In our own experience as a nation, the media has been a crucial partner in holding government accountable, exposing corruption, and promoting the public good. When the media helped restore democracy in 1992, after 3 decades of military rule, the media played a seminal role in educating the public, informing citizens about their rights, and ensuring that the democratic process was transparent. You helped shape the democratic culture that Ghanaians cherish today. I have always maintained that democracy does not thrive in darkness. It needs the light of scrutiny, debate, and engagement. And it is the media that holds the torch, illuminating the path towards a brighter society. Indeed, without a free and vibrant media, the work of good governance becomes difficult and the people's voice diminished. But as we know, with great power comes great responsibility. This power to shape opinions, to frame narratives, and to hold leaders to account requires the utmost care, integrity, and a deep commitment to the truth. The bond between journalists and the public is built on trust, and it is this trust that must be continually safeguarded by your professionalism and dedication to accuracy, fairness, and balance. As we look back on the role of the media over the past 75 years, we must pay particular attention to its contribution to our electoral process. Elections are the bedrock of any democracy, and the media is the lifeblood that sustains them. Every 4 years, Ghanaians go to the polls to choose their leaders, and in that process, the media plays an indispensable role. It is through your work that citizens are informed about the policies of political parties, the integrity of candidates, and the issues that matter most to their lives. The responsibility of the media during elections cannot be overstated. You have been at the forefront, monitoring the polls, reporting on potential irregularities, and ensuring that the voices of the electorate are heard. The peaceful transitions of power that we've seen in Ghana are in no small part due to the diligence and integrity of the media. But the times are changing. In this digital age, we face many new challenges: disinformation, misinformation, fake news, and sensationalism that can distort the electoral process. While the technology has democratized information, it has also created new vulnerabilities. In the age of social media, where information travels faster than ever, journalists must rise to the occasion by being the gatekeepers of truth, ensuring that facts prevail over falsehoods. As we prepare for yet another election cycle, I call on the media to continue its vital work, reporting with integrity, ensuring fairness in coverage, and providing voters with the accurate, timely, and comprehensive information they need to make informed decisions. The stakes are high, and your role has never been more crucial. Ladies and gentlemen, I stand before you not only as the President of the Republic, but as someone who has walked alongside the media on this nation's journey to freedom and democracy. It was a journey to which I too felt deeply committed, both as a citizen and as a public servant. Even though the Constitution of the Fourth Republic provides protection for journalists and state-owned media outlets to perform their duties without interference from the executive, members of the NPP know all too well what it feels like to be on the receiving end of being shut out by these outlets. You may recall that we had to go to court to obtain a formal ruling from the Supreme Court, which ultimately liberated media houses like the Daily Graphic to act in accordance with what is right. It was one of the high points of my professional career, arguing before the Supreme Court the case of the New Patriotic Party versus the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation, where the court pronounced on the constitutional imperative of according equal time on state media to the views of all political actors. The court's decision has deservedly become an anchor of our democratic political culture. In 2001, when I had the privilege of serving as Attorney General, another of the proudest moments of my career was leading the effort to repeal the criminal libel law. For too long, this law had served as a weapon to muzzle free speech, a tool used to intimidate journalists and a threat to the freedom of the media. Its repeal was not just a legal victory, but a moral one too, a commitment to the belief that the media should be free to report without fear of persecution. I believe then, as I believe now, that freedom of the media is essential to the health of our democracy. It is why, as President, my government also worked tirelessly to pass the Right to Information Act, a law that empowers journalists and the general public to seek the information they need to hold leaders accountable. For years, the passage of this law had eluded us, but I'm proud that it was my government that saw it through. This law has opened up the workings of government and given the media the tools it needs to continue playing its watchdog role effectively. I remain deeply committed to ensuring that the media in Ghana remains free, vibrant, and independent. Media freedom is not a privilege, but a right enshrined in our Constitution, and it must be jealously guarded. As we celebrate this 75-year milestone, we must ask ourselves, what does the future hold for journalism in Ghana? The landscape of journalism is evolving, and so too must the profession. In this age of instant news, social media and citizen journalism, traditional media must adapt. But whilst the platforms may change, the values of journalism, truth, fairness, impartiality, objectivity must never be compromised. Ghanaian journalists have always been known for their tenacity and professionalism, and I have no doubt that you will continue to lead the way in this new era. However, I must emphasize that we cannot allow ourselves to be swept away by the tide of sensationalism or clickbait journalism. The role of the journalist is to provide clarity, not confusion, to inform, not inflame. We live in a world where the lines between fact and opinion are becoming increasingly blurred. The rise of social media has made everyone a potential news source, but not everyone adheres to the principles of responsible journalism. It is in this climate that your role as professional journalists becomes even more critical. One of the most dangerous threats to our democracy today